Okay, navigating through adulthood. I believe episode 8, 9, whatever. But this is a good one right here because man, I tried, tell you guys, man, it's just raising kids, doing this is hard work. And I was like, man, I want to get back to talking to people. I was talking to celebrities in the beginning, earlier episodes. And I was like, all right, well, last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked to Vinny the Vegan, just talking about healthy lifestyle eating and all of that. And now that I'm a father and, juggling career and work and all of these different things, I really get to see, how hard it is. And I wanted to bring in my dad. What's up? You gotta say what's up. We got really talking to the mic.
What's going on?
What's up?
It's all good.
Oh, he's so cool. He's so cool. Let's give him you want to give him your name? Say hi,
Stanley Harris.
All right, so I wanted to bring you in because, like a lot of stories of, families that I know of, like, I know a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people that have the story that I had, like, grew up, Germantown, parents still together, was raised in a two-parent household. And I wanted to talk to you about really just navigating through adulthood because this is hard work.
Most definitely. There's really no book.
Oh, you got talking to the mic.
There's really no book or blueprint that you can go by. Every situation is different.
Yeah.
And it's, learn as you go, more or less.
So basically you're saying, when you were raising, me and my sister, you had no clue. You had no idea what you were doing.
None whatsoever.
Oh, that's good to know.
None whatsoever. A lot of it was on feel. There was never really growing up. There weren't that many families similar to ours. It was really strange. There were a lot of families in my neighborhood that were, I would say, raised by single parent.
Now you talking about you when you grew up?
Yeah. When I was growing up, my mom, she was a single parent. So it was, really trial and error.
So my dad, I was like, yo, I want to put you on navigating through adulthood. He said, what we gonna talk about? I said, we're just gonna talk. So just even with that, like, and the crazy thing about this, navigating through adulthood, I do certain episodes because now, we watch, what was that show? Who Do You Think You Are? It's on Ancestry, just like knowing who your family is and all that. And like, this is something right here, this conversation, my kids and my grandkids and my, great grandkids, they can go back and listen to this. And this will be like a history lesson for them, right?
Right.
So, all right. So get back to you. You grew up in Ocean City, Pleasantville, New Jersey.
Correct.
Right? Okay. In the 1920s.
Oh,
no,
come on. I'm not that old.
No, I'm kidding. But no, so you grew up and, all right, you had a girlfriend who's my mom and like you guys got married. How, like, just talk about if you didn't come from a two-parent household and you didn't come from like this white picket fence, what made you want to like do that? Like what, because a lot of people don't want to just have a family.
Well, it was something that I always wanted. I never had a situation where there was a father and a mother, underneath the same roof.
Uh-huh.
And it was just something that I always wanted.
Yeah.
Growing up, there were many people that I knew that had gotten married and shortly thereafter they divorced.
Yeah.
And as a young child, I was always wondering, what are they doing wrong? It can't be that hard, which it is.
Yeah, it is.
But it was it was really something that I always wanted. My mother, she passed away when I was like 14. So I really had to grow up fast.
Uh-huh.
And I guess it's one of the reasons why I am who I am today. You being my son, I guess at the time thought I was really being harsh.
Oh my gosh.
Or very strict, and some of the things that I expected of you. And basically, it was more or less trying to steer you in the right path and didn't want you to, you know, uh, get off into something that would affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I mean, I couldn't be a friend. I had to be a parent.
Yeah. And how long have you been married?
It'll be 43 years this September.
43 years. Like I've been married for, I think it's going on 6 years. And I don't know, how do you stay married to somebody? Like, all right, so you've been married for 43 years. What you probably dated my mom, 10, 12 years.
Right, right.
Like, so it's been over 50 years just with one like, how?
It's difficult, but I think one of the things that helped us is the fact that I I used to always make light. People would ask me about my mother-in-law. May she rest in peace.
Hmm.
And I would always say, I have the best mother-in-law in the world because she doesn't visit. And that's basically living here in the Philly. We had very few relatives that lived here with us, so therefore, uh, folks can't get in your business. It's a little bit more difficult when you live in a town where everybody knows you, and they're trying to give you advice, and they're not doing well themselves. So it was basically us living here in this big city. Growing up together, learning one another without distractions.
So basically, just keeping people out of your business.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. Like, all right, so I'm the youngest, so it's my sister. She's 4 years older than me. What was? Let's go through the time of you found out that you're about to be a father. Like, how was that, and what did you do, and what were some of the bumps? Just growing and expanding. Without just you and your girlfriend or you and your wife, to having a child.
It was basically mixed emotions. I was happy, and I was also uh, afraid of the unknown. Like I said, not knowing how to raise a child. It's not that I had fear of children. I had many nieces and nephews, so I grew up around little babies, but the responsibility was never mine.
Yeah.
I could always get my sneaks on, go out and play some basketball because it wasn't my responsibility. But yeah, it was mixed. I figured, how am I going to do this? And I'm assuming that a lot of young people run into that, because they've never raised a child before. But everything worked out well, I think.
Yeah. What was I guess the transition between just you being married and then having a kid? Like, what were the, I guess, the hardships? Because a lot of people out there, like, I feel like once it gets tough, or changes, like having a kid, like, there are dramatic changes that happen in a marriage. That how do you get through, and how do you work it out?
It's really strange. Every obstacle that has come before me, I've been able to maneuver or get around it. And at the time, uh, I guess you think too much about failure,
Mm.
and knowing that you can weather the storm makes it a little bit easier, you know. But there are different phases as far as having children. You have them, and then, there's never enough money when you're first starting out. So that was something I continually had to strive to make some more money, because it was difficult, but we did get through it.
Yeah. And then, all right, so Stacy, that's my sister. She wasn't playing. That wasn't a plan.
Um, Strangely enough, black folks don't. Most black folks back in the day were not planning
Yeah.
pregnancy. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But no, you just don't. I think we're going to have a baby. You know. But yeah, I mean, it was really. It was really kind of hard to believe. Everybody else is having, children and being parents, and it's something that's just like having cold water thrown in your face. I have to grow up and change some of the things that I'm doing, and redirect some of my energy.
Yeah. So you had you had your first kid when you were what, 20, 25, 26?
25, 26. And it was really odd because most of the people that we grew up with, they've already had, by the time we had our kids, they had like 2 and 3.
Wow.
So we were really late as far as at that time.
And hold on, and then you guys got married. You were what, 22?
23.
23, and mom was 22?
Right.
That's crazy. Like, what do you know?
Nothing.
What do you know at 22, 23?
Not a thing.
Like, you're not even the same person from 22 to 26
Right.
versus 22 to 30.
Right.
So how do you go through all of these changes with one person? Because guess what? Like, in the beginning, it may be, oh, we're the same. And you guys, you go your different ways. I mean,
Right.
in a relationship, like, you go your wants and whatever your
Right.
interests may go different ways. How do you go through those kind of changes?
It's something. When you look back on our ages when we got married, we were really kids. I mean, but for that era, we weren't that young. But we knew nothing. We knew nothing. We were still kids. I had just gotten back from Vietnam maybe a year. So it was strange. It was strange. I continually went from one situation to another, But like I said, living here
What do you mean by that? You went from one situation to another?
in 11 months prior, I'm in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Just hoping and praying that I can get out of there alive.
Yeah.
I had no thoughts about what I was going to do next. I just wanted to leave there in one piece.
How long were you in Vietnam?
11 months.
Oh, yeah, you said, okay, wow.
Yeah, 11 months. So
Would you ever go back for a vacation?
now I would,
Oh,
yes.
okay, yeah.
Now I would, but that's been like 40 some years.
Wow.
If you had to ask me, in 1980, I'd probably said no. But yeah.
So you graduated high school, and from high school to when you went to Vietnam, how long was that?
A year.
All right, so you're out of high school a year, and then you go to Vietnam for almost a year,
Correct.
and then you come back and get married.
I'm out for another year, and yeah, we decided to get married.
Sheesh.
But it was strange because when I came back from Vietnam and went back to the little town that I was from, it was different. I thought that everybody there had changed when in actuality it was me. I had changed, and I no longer wanted to do the same things.
You know what? And it's so funny you say that, because when I went to LA and came back, I felt the same way.
Right.
Like, I'm like, man, what's wrong with everybody? They
Right.
everybody acting different. No, they acting the same. I was the one that changed.
Exactly. Sometimes you have to step away from things in order to get a real good look as to what's going on. You really don't check things out when you're into it, but if you get a chance to step away, and that's the way it was for me. I didn't want to do the same thing, So
All right. So you guys get married, and you're from Pleasantville, New Jersey, which is like an hour from Philly, but a whole different world. So you guys get married, you move up here, and then I guess you guys start your family. And
well, yeah. Well, we tried fortunately, I was working, prior to us getting married, and the job that I had was one of the things that kept me here in Philadelphia for so long. Because I never really thought that I would be here that long due to where we grew up and where we lived. Was completely different. So it was a continual thing about us trying to find ourselves and our groove.
Okay. And all right, so you have the first kid, and then boom, pop up. You like you said, a lot of black families don't plan. Then I come. Mom's pregnant with me. What were your thoughts then?
Same thing,
Yeah.
fear. I mean, we were struggling with one child,
Yeah.
and daycare is not what it is today.
Man.
But
It's
but you
crazy.
still have to provide daycare. And I was wondering, oh my God, how am I going to do it with two? But like everything else, it worked out.
Yeah.
It's just I guess it's just that fear of the unknown.
When did you get the fear, like, all right, how many obstacles did you have to go through to say, all right, I'm cool, like the fear of the unknown is, I'm over that?
Well, you're never cool, because there's, kids' feet continue to grow. Um, the appetite becomes greater, as you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're always trying to stay above water. It's never something where you're in a comfort zone and you can put it on cruise control and just lay back. It's a constant grind,
Yeah.
and it got to a point where I was accustomed to grinding, you know, because there was something that was always needed to be done. In other words, you guys always needed something, or either tuition's going up. It was always something,
Yeah.
But after a while, you just, without thinking, you just grind until you accomplish what you need to do.
Yeah. What do you think? What did you? I never asked you this. All right. So, did you ever have? What were your dreams? What did you want to become? Because you worked for the city for 30 something years, and you fixed traffic lights, electrical engineer. But were there any other dreams that you wanted to do that you felt like, man, I should probably try to accomplish those or go after them?
It's really strange. A strange question. I remember growing up, the glass ceiling, it wasn't that far above our heads.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing was just to have a nice family in a home. I mean, I know it may sound strange, but I remember as a child, my mother did domestic work.
Uh-huh.
And she worked for this judge in Ocean City, New Jersey. And this man's home was immaculate, And it was so odd that every now and then I would visit her. I'd walk down there to where she worked. And I was just in awe of the homes and the way the people lived. And then for us to come back home to where we lived, her being tired and we're like, just barely making it. It was something that I always wanted. I could never understand how come we lived one way and they lived another way. So that was basically my goal.
Gotcha.
Was to have a family and live in a nice house. I know it may not seem like a big dream, but that's where my head was at. After coming back from Vietnam, my outlook on life was completely different. So I I mean, the small things that came my way, I was glad to get them.
Yeah.
But that, it's basically the way we grew up. we didn't have much, but we there was always love there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, little town that we lived in, it seemed like everybody was your relative. You know, you couldn't go 2 blocks or a block without running into somebody that was your cousin, and you know, or an older person that would always put you in check if they saw you doing something that was not right.
Got you. What would your advice be to? I was gonna say like your 30 years prior self, right? But now, I guess my question is, what would your advice be to me having 2 kids? You know, it's like I got this crazy career juggling that. It's just, you know, I mean, things are way more expensive, but it's still the same, you know, the same parallels. What would your advice be about, I guess, marriage, and what would your advice be about just trying to achieve, you know, the things that you know that I'm trying to achieve? Because you've been through it.
It's always good to have goals, you know. But the one main thing that you should keep in mind is that family is the number one thing. Family is the most important thing. When um, everyone else, you know, may turn their back or think differently of you, you always know the family's going to be there, regardless of what you do. You know, you could do some positive things in life or some negative things in life, but families will always be there, you know, to keep your back. So my thing to you would be, you know, is to always have your goal and focus on your goal, but always, you know, you have to keep an eye on family, make sure that you're doing the right thing by them.
Mm. Man, that's that was navigating through adulthood, man. Like, you know, you dropped some jewels. I think one was fear. You know, just always just getting that out the way. Family. It was a couple other things in there. I couldn't remember. Any lasting words you know you want to tell the people?
Um, it's really odd sitting here talking like this. You know, it's more difficult than you would think. Now, if you were to ask some of my ex coworkers about me having difficulty speaking, they would probably have a different opinion of that. You know,
Yeah.
but the fact that you do what you do and you do it with ease, you know, I'm very proud of you. Always have been proud of you. You know, and just like your sister, I've been blessed to have 2 kids that I could say, or 2 young adults that I could say that I'm very proud of, and it was all worth it. And I love you.
Oh, I love you too. This is great, man. This is navigating through adulthood. Hopefully, you heard some things that you can take away. Share it. Hit me up on Instagram. Tell me what you thought about it. Twitter, Instagram, All Media Q. That's at All Media Q. You giving out your social media?
Oh,
You don't even know how to add people. I would give y'all his, but he don't even know how to add people. His thing is private. All right, navigating through adulthood, y'all.